Right, Chisel. I'm going to record now my second part of the tutorial for you for The Witcher 3, and I'm just going to concentrate on crafting, alchemy, and weapons and armor, and a little bit maybe about the abilities as well. So, right, how can I make my character stronger? Right, well, I can make my character stronger by getting new weapons and armor. Now I can either buy new swords, I can loot and find new swords, or I can craft new swords. Right, they're the three different ways, right? So for swords in particular, you need to see a blacksmith, right? And a blacksmith is found if you go on the map. You'll meet them throughout as you're doing the quests and going through the game. You'll naturally meet different tradespeople, and tradespeople are normally shown by these white symbols. An innkeeper always has the little beer mug, and you can always buy food and drink from an innkeeper. The general merchant is this little money bag, and there's an armor right where I am here, and there's an armor symbol is normally a coat of armor. So you buy all your armor from an armorer, which would include then the chest armor, the gloves, the boots, and anything related to armor they would sell. It's not showing the symbol for this chap for some reason, but I know he's an armourer. And it will always give you this same dialogue option then of showing him your wares, which is...
Show me what you got.
And then on the right then it'll show everything he's got for sale. Seeing it says he's an amateur armourer. The only armour he has for sale is this chest armor, which is a shirt, right? And I can see by that it's 14 points lower than the current armour I'm wearing. So if I come out to that dialogue,
So long.
I see my chest armor is currently 15. Look, there is some of the stats up along with them. You know, some armors have more resistance to slashing damage, some from certain monsters, but the main number is the top one really, which is I'm not sure how it's calculated, but it'll add up all these different pieces of armor. See, the one for the gloves, one for the boots, and for so that's 15, that's 16, and I think if you go to the stats page, well, it's actually adding up to 20. Well, that's right, isn't it? 21. So basically, all you're looking for is armor, which is higher rated than the ones you're currently wearing, and this is exactly the same situation for a sword. They show damage per strike, but there is the white number 81 that I died for this silver sword, and 22 to 26 for the Witcher's steel sword. Right, so I can either find better weapons just purely by looting. There's quite a lot of swords and armor to be found throughout the game. I'll see if I can randomly come across them now. Did see a chest down here to loot. Nothing in there. I know there's some monsters up here. I don't think that this may be a guarded treasure, which means
Come on, closer.
right. See on that map symbol now. showing me that this is guarded treasure. So those monsters were, if it obviously attacks over here, the boat's wrecked, and there's a treasure chest. Look, so if I loot this, right, I found armor there. Right, a crafting diagram and torn out pages for potions. Right, so I'll speak about them now. I found a sword. Right, so I'm using my Witcher senses to see if there's any more loot, because it'll flash yellow. That is an explosive barrel. If we set them on fire, they'll blow up. So don't be too close to them, and if you do set them on fire. Right, so if I go back to my inventory now, everything I just picked up will be sorted. So this is the armor I just picked up, and as you can see, it's 10 points higher than what I'm currently wearing. Right, so I will double click to equip that armor, and the sword is 7 points higher than my steel sword I'm currently using. Right, so that is one way to go about getting better weapons and armor. The other method, which often gives better results, is a crafting. So if I go to the crafting page, right, any weapons and armor I can craft will be listed here. Right, so at the top it's showing a warrior's leather jacket. Now this is currently 5 points better than the armor I'm currently wearing, but to make anything that's crafted, you have to go to either an armorer and pay them to craft it, or a blacksmith if it's a sword. And you need the right ingredient, the right components. Right, and showing me, I can use the current chest armor I'm wearing, but I also need 1 cured leather, 2 leather scraps, and 2 wires. Now I can, if I carry on looting different villages and things I come across, there's a good chance I could find them. If not, I could possibly buy them, and an armourer would more likely have those components I need to make that leather jacket. So in fact, I'll go back to the armour now and see. You can also craft other crafting components. So that cured leather is listed here. Now that cured leather can be made from 4 leather scraps. Right, now leather scraps, you can either, let's have a look in my inventory. You can also, these other items you pick up, and some of the crafting items I believe, can also be dismantled into other crafting components. So the way you find that out is, again, speaking to an armourer, and they will give you a menu option for dismantling some of those components into the bits, basically just to get the bits you need. So if I head back to the village, I can always call your horse Roach at any time as well, and he always just magically appears wherever you are. Very convenient.
A return customer. Welcome. What can I do for you this time?
I'd like you to forge something for me.
Right, so he's an armourer, so again he can only craft the different types of armour, and it's showing you here, look. There's certain components that are missing, look, the cured leather, and that little gold bag is saying you can buy that off him if you don't have it. I haven't got enough money to buy those items, but let's see. He's also got more menus as well as the crafting. This is the shop menu, which I went to before. It shows again what he's got willing to sell, and then what you can sell to him on the left, and what you can buy from him on the right. But he's also got several other menus. You can dismantle some components, so only the other items by the looks of things can be dismantled. See, now that I picked up the white wolf hide at the start of the earlier in the last tutorial. Now that can be dismantled for 13 coin into cured leather and a fur scrap. So again, basically these other items, that's all they're really useful for, is dismantling them into crafting components or to sell them. So that's the only real value to, but that's the process, right? So you speak to the armourer, you either buy the components you need off him, or you've already found the components you need, or you can dismantle some of your other items to get the components you need. What else was I going to say? So I'll leave that for now.
So long.
Also, some of the weapons and armor also have a required level. It shows you there. Now the required level for that chest armor is level 1, which I currently am, so I can wear it. And I'm guessing, well, all these must be level 1 because I'm wearing them at the moment. But you'll find crafting diagrams for items that are a much higher level than you. You won't be able to equip those. You can still craft them. You can still hold them in your inventory. But until you get to that level, you won't actually be able to wear them. So something to bear in mind as well. It's sometimes it's not worth buying every single, set of armor for sale or crafting every single diagram you find, because you will find lots. What I tend to do is, once I can see a certain piece of armor is several points above my current level, and same goes for the swords really, then I'll either work towards crafting that one particular item, and either loot items as I go, or dismantle items as I need to get that particular item. If it's like maybe one level above me, I might get that crafted just to wait until I go up to that level if I'm not far off leveling up anyway. But again, that's up to you. What else do I need to mention? Right, another thing about weapons and armor is the durability. Now you can see for this steel sword, it's on 77%, and it's got a little hammer next to it. As the swords are used, the durability level will slowly go down every strike. Once they go below 75%, it will actually reduce the damage. You will see, I think this armor was damaged. Yeah, now this chest armor is on 68%, and it's lost -2 from its armor value, so it's actually 23. Now to repair that, again, for armor you need to speak to an armorer. For swords you'll need to speak to a blacksmith, and they'll repair your armor up to 100% for a price. The other method, which tends to be better as well if you do a lot of looting, I think it works out cheaper as well, is you can find a armor repair kit and I can't remember the term. There's also a repair kit for your weapons as well. And you can also craft those as well. Once you get the crafting diagrams, you can also craft those. And I think that actually works out a bit cheaper. Right, so the next thing you probably want to know is how you get the crafting diagrams. Now, you can, again, either by looting. I believe I picked up some crafting diagrams when I looted that chest, and any crafting diagrams will automatically be added. Yeah, I think I picked up this one, didn't I? Broadhead bolt. So now this has been added, and as you go through the game, you'll find lots of diagrams, and this list will become quite long. You can also, though, buy crafting diagrams, and again, that would be from an armourer or a blacksmith. So
Show me what you got.
to show me ways, it'll show all these diagrams here. Look, cavalry boots. So that's to make boots which are 18 value for armor. Tracker's trousers 24. So it's basically down to you to go through these and see if they're worth getting. see, now this is a particularly good one here, look. Bounty Hunter's Gambeson, that's chest armor, which is 67 value, which is very high, but the required level is 8, which is a fair few levels above you, so it's going to be a while until you're at level 8. So you can get the diagram, build it, but you won't actually be able to wear it, so that's something to bear in mind as well when you're looking, okay? See, that one's level 5. So again, so you can buy those, you may be able to find these as you loot, but another way is to buy them from the armourer. Right, so that's pretty much crafting in a nutshell. Another thing that popped into my head as well, which I hadn't mentioned to you, was your inventory. Now, there's no real limit. Well, there's no real limit. You can pick up an unlimited number of items. You know, all these armor, potions, food and drink. But certain items, the armor in particular and the swords in particular, but a lot of the items have a weight to them. So the weight number is given by this little weight symbol, looks a bit like a bell. It's 0.25 for that fisher net, 0.08, but the armor and swords will be the heaviest usually, so it's 1.74 for that, and 1.57, and you'll soon loot quite a lot of items, right? All those numbers add up to the weight symbol, which is shown on the top left. See, so I'm counting 10 and my maximum weight is 60. Now, if you go over the maximum weight of 60, you become overburdened, and the only disadvantage to being overburdened is your character won't be able to run, which is quite it's quite important really, because if you do ever get into a combat situation and you're stuck, you won't be able to run, and it gets quite annoying. So always bear that in mind. Don't go over that maximum weight. If you're getting close to it, your options are you can either drop items. You can drop items anywhere, or you can sell some of your items. If you don't want to sell them, every different area you're in has a where is it to in here? There's your stash, right? Store weapons, armor, and junk in a stash for safekeeping. They'll not be stolen, otherwise disappear, right? So any excess items you got can be dumped in the stash. So it's literally just dragging the item across. There we go, and it's in your stash, and that can hold an unlimited number of items. Right, so that covers crafting and weapons and armor. Again, you're gonna feel you're just gonna as you go through the world and complete the quests, you'll naturally meet different merchants, and it's just down to you then. The symbols should show on the map, so you shouldn't sort of lose track of where they are. So right, the next thing I want to cover then really is the alchemy part. Right, so the alchemy page is this one, and it's very similar setup to the crafting page, right? You'll have a list on the left, which will show you things, alchemy items you can make, right? So you'll have the main things you want to make here are the potions, the oils, and the decoctions, right? And then you click on one, and again, it'll show you a list of ingredients you need to make that item. Again, these ingredients can be found throughout the world by looting. You can buy them off certain merchants. Herbalists have the herbs, and there's alchemists as well, which tends to have sort of oils and other things, maybe like this dog tallow, for example. The main difference between the alchemy and the crafting page is anything on the alchemy page you can actually make yourself at no cost. You just need the ingredients. You can make any of these you want. So I don't have any of the ingredients here, but let's see if I can get some of these ingredients and make some of these for you, and then I can show you then how they work. There's another merchant here.
We meet again.
Thank you for saving me. People say all...
So you managed...
Let's see what this chap has got. Not that I've got any money to buy anything off him.
Let me have a look at your stock.
But this guy's likely to have. Right, I can craft Alcohest, but this guy also sells it. He hasn't got much else, to be honest. These sort of general merchants got a bit of everything. Oh, there's an amateur weapon repair kit there, which I was on about earlier. If I bought that, that will restore 15% of an item's durability. Again, you'll as you loot, you'll probably pick a few of them up, and you'll get a crafting diagram that shows you how to make them as well. So it's always handy to have a few of those on you.
Take care.
But again, for now, at this stage of the game, the only thing you vitally need on you really is food and or drink, just to heal yourself in combat. All the things like armor and swords and the potions only give you sort of incremental boosts of certain things. You know, you won't get a particular sword that's extremely powerful. You won't get any armor that'll make you invincible. You won't get any potions that'll make you, tremendously strong. They're all sort of incremental increases. So don't feel like you have to get, there's no desperate need to get all these things at the start. But just out of interest, and I'll show you how to brew some potions and things, and I'll show you how the potions work, because it's. So let's have a look at the map. I think. Right, if I follow this road down, I'm pretty sure there's a herbalist or an alchemist in this direction.
Whoa there, Roach. Take it easy.
It's an abandoned village here, right? So there will be lots of items to loot here. Bread, silver ingot that'll be used in crafting. So again, using my Witcher senses. They're just all other items that can either be sold or dismantled. Right, that Alcohest was quite an important item. The strong alcohol is used for replenishing your potions and bombs. Alright, so you will need a few of them as well. But again, it's something you're either going to loot, or you can buy, or you can make in the alchemy page. And there's dog tallow. I needed dog tallow, didn't I, for that necrophage oil. More Alcohest. More Alcohest. Oh, the other thing you can use as well is your torch. I didn't tell you about that either. Let's have a show how that works. We go back to the inventory page. I talked about your consumables. You can select into these slots. So I can actually use the food and drink then as I'm in combat. You've also got 2 slots underneath for bombs. I'll make bombs, that's again on the alchemy page. But then you've got 2 pockets as well. Pockets are for handheld items, right? And the main thing you'll use here is the torch, which you've got. So I've got to slide that into one of the pockets and I'll be able to use it. But there's also quest-specific items that sometimes you'll need to use, and you'll have to drag them into those slots. So, select the torch. Right, it's not much else in there. Right, let's see. I go back to the crafting page. Right, blow balls I'm going to need to make the necrophage oil. Alright, and I think I'll be able to buy them. I think there's a herbalist.
Faster.
Look at the map.
Slow now. Whoa.
There's another abandoned village down there. Any sort of village or buildings you stumble across are usually always worth investigating. You'll always find something to loot. See another sword then. So again, that's got +2 to the damage, but then -2 because it's just no better than sort of got at the moment until it's repaired. Right. Where was I heading to? Right. As if by magic, he always appears.
Go.
Right. I'm sure there's a little yeah, there's an area here that I can if I get rid of these ghouls. Right. You see this scenario quite often where you have what they call it. There's when you go to the question marks, some of them will be what's the word? There's an area that that has been attacked by monsters, and then the people will return to that area and thank you usually for ridding the monsters from the area. And this herbalist now has appeared.
What?
So
Got anything interesting?
right, I needed the blow balls. I think it was 4, wasn't it? So buy 4 of them. And now,
Farewell.
if I go to my alchemy page, you can see now the necrophage oil has gone green. So I've got all the parts I need to make necrophage oil. So all I do now is go to craft item. I'll use up those 4 items. And if I go to the inventory page, Alright, and go to this tab here, which is the oils, potions and bombs. It's now added necrophage oil. Right, and how these I'll go over each of these in turn because they're not very intuitive how they work. All the oils are coatings for the sword that give you some sort of enhancement against a certain category of enemy. So this one now is a 10% attack against necrophages, and to use it, all you have to do is select it and then select the sword you put across. It's not allowing me to put across a steel sword because necrophages are monsters. So that's applied now to the silver sword, and if I click on it, it's come up with a little yellow text saying 10% attack. But I get 20 goes with it, right? And then it runs out. But all you need to do once it runs out is just reapply it a second time. And again, any other oil will override the current oil you're using. These oils, once you've made them, never run out. They're always listed. So again, those oils are really good, a nice little boost to get. So as soon as you get those diagrams, they're called torn out pages for anything for alchemy. But as soon as you find them, or if you see a merchant that's selling them and you can buy them, they're quite useful at the start. Right, potions are made again on the crafting page, and exactly on the crafting page or the alchemy page in exactly the same way. So here's some. Right. Again, I haven't got the ingredients for these. Again, it's the same situation that we're just going to have to find the ingredients you need to make them. When you do make them, same situation again, they will be listed here, right? And they will be listed in this area indefinitely. The way they work is they have a number of charges. So you can see I've got this Torniel now, which has 3 charges. Once all the charges have depleted, and the same goes for the bombs. Actually, you make bombs in exactly the same way. They'll be added to this menu. You'll get so many charges, they're called, so many uses with them. And the only way to replenish those charges is to meditate. So I'll give you an example now, I think, see if it'll get this to work. Right, and when you take a potion, decoctions are also listed along with potions. When you take a potion, it'll give you a certain buff to your character. So this Torniel accelerates stamina regeneration, right? So again, you'll have to equip it. So I'll place it here. Right, and I will use the Torniel now. You'll use your directional keypad, I believe, to select Torniel. I'm using my keyboard and mouse at the moment, so I've just got to press a letter on the keyboard, right? So if I use Torniel now, right, you'll see that green flash, and a few things have happened now. So, number of uses, luck has gone down to 2 now. It's taken one of those, right? And you can see there's a timer counting down that my stamina will recover faster, which is counting down until the potion runs out. But it's another thing it's also done is increased my toxicity, which is the green bar. Again, it's shown here now. My toxicity has gone up 10% by consuming that potion. And the toxicity will slowly, over time, will slowly come back down. If toxicity is fine until it gets over 75%. Once the toxicity goes over 75%, you'll start losing health, right? And the only way to stop that is, well, you can either consume food and water until that green bar naturally goes back down below 75%, and then you'll stop receiving damage. But there's another potion which you can make right from the start. Go to the alchemy page. You haven't got any. Is the white honey. That clears all toxicity and cancels any active potion effects. So that's a useful if you want to start using potions. Which, well, you'll definitely use potions. But that is a good one to get the ingredients for to start. So again, you need Dwarven Spirit. You've already looted a honeysuckle when I was exploring the world. Swallow is another good one as well. It accelerates. That's health recovery. Vitality, remember, is your health bar. and that will recover your health. But again, like I said, right, each of those potions and decoctions you consume, if you consume multiple ones, it'll add to this toxicity level, right? Potions are generally the smaller bottles. Lost the page again now. Right, while decoctions are these, they've got these oddly shaped bottles. Now, decoctions tend to have a very a longer lasting effect, but it will also take your toxicity right up to, so it tells you there 70%. So that lasts for, what's that, 100 days? That's that 30 half an hour it'll last for, but your toxicity will be very high, so you won't be able to consume any of the potions if you've had a decoction. Right, so that's something to bear in mind. Right, and then back to the number of charges. You can see that's gone down by 1. The only way to recover those charges, and it'll do all of your potions and all your bomb charges when you meditate. So if I go to the meditation page now and meditate, it will say strong alcohol was used to replenish your alchemy items. So it'll consume. It's not very intuitive. I find it quite a bit weird to get my head around it first. But now that Tony oil's gone back up to 3 charges now. And that'll be the same for however many number of potions you've got, or however many number of bombs you've got listed here. It'll recover all of them and consume 1 alcohol in doing so. We can only do that after you meditate. So that's something to remember. That's not oils. Remember, the oils will stay there indefinitely. Just once you've made them, you just got to keep reapplying them to your blade. So that about sums up alchemy. I hope that makes sense. Right, then I'll go over one last thing now, which was the abilities. So, again, I mentioned this on the last tutorial. When you go up a level, you'll get an ability point. The ability point can be spent on any one of these squares, right? Some of these squares will take more than one. You'll have one at, let's see that one is 0 to 3, so you can spend up to 3 ability points on Fire Stream. That does a continuous stream of fire damage to enemies, and that damage will increase then. The more ability points you pump into that one particular item. Again, these lower items are locked until you've spent 6 ability points in this section. That's how it works. So it does kind of force you to focus on one more than the other if you want to get to some of the more advanced abilities. So that's hence why some people, they either favour the combat, they favour the signs. But you should get enough ability points really to unlock some of these later ones in more than one branch. But it will take a bit of time. So I chose a strong sign build, they call it, and some of the combat ones. The fast attack ones in particular are good, because you'll always use fast attack more than you'll use strong attack. I chose them purely because it's a bit more fun, to be honest. Using your signs in combat, you can set enemies on fire. You can use R to knock over, not hundreds, but a group of men, and it makes it quite entertaining, to be honest. With the Axie ones, you can take control of some of the enemies, and they'll actually start fighting each other. Right, with the alchemy ones, now the alchemy section, what this will do, is give buffs basically to all the potions you use. So it takes the overdose threshold there, from 75. Possibly, I've never done this, but if you used all 5 ability points, that might take it up to 100. So that might mean there's no limit to the number of potions you can consume. Right, it'll be things along those lines. See, poison blades, that gives 3% of chance of poison target each hit, and that will go up and then more points you use on that one. So, and apparently you can get quite a strong character by spending ability points in the alchemy branch. But the thing is, the thing that turned me off with it is you don't actually see anything on screen. There's sort of buffs to your character, but there's no sort of on-screen effects. That's not as far as I'm aware anyway. And with the signs you see. You can set multiple enemies on fire at once, knock over a big group of enemies if the odd sign is intensified. And also with the combat one, some of these combat skills are very good. The whirl one, he does a spinning attack, which is quite good to see. He can attack multiple enemies at once. So again, I just purely think they're more fun, and it's down to you ultimately which ones you choose. Oh, while I'm here as well, there's also this fifth tab, which is something called mutagens, right? I might as well go over this. Now, mutagens you can also create on the Alchemy page, which is here, look. Right? Mutagens, and I'm not sure if you can buy these or not from merchants, but you typically find them from certain enemies. They will drop them. And again, you can make these mutagens. And the mutagens are used exclusively back on that character page. Right? Now, all your abilities, what I'll do once I get an ability point, again, you'll need to, once you've selected what particular ability you want, you've got to remember to slide it to the right hand slot. You can only use one. The second one will unlock a level 2. That will unlock a level 4. When does that mutagen unlock? Or unlocks a level 2. Now, a mutagen can be slided into the 4 diamond shaped ones you can see on the outside. Now, the mutagens come in different colors: red, blue, and green. Right? So if you've got, say for example, a red combat ability in here, and you've also got a red mutagen in here, that'll give an extra, say 5 or 10 or 15%. I think it's 20% actually might be the max. Let's have a look. Greater mutagen is 10% boost. Right? If you slide that into that diamond slot when it becomes unlocked, it'll give an additional boost. And the more items you've got here, I think that boost increases as well, as long as the colors match. So you need a red mutagen for the red combat abilities, the blue one for the sign, and the green if you go alchemy. They'll need to match up. That won't apply to anything on the general branch. You don't get any boosts to these. They're just one ability point uses, and they are what they are. They don't get any stronger. But again, they've also got to be slided to the right to be used. Right, so I think I've summed everything up there I can think of, Chisel. You can see now that herbalist is showing up on the map, look, as a white little branch symbol. Look, it's telling me there's a herbalist there. So that's how we keep how we keep track of the different merchants. Again, you'll find plenty as you go throughout the map. So I think I will leave it there. Just I hope that makes sense. So yeah, so basically just to sort of sum up, to increase your character, you need to find better weapons, better armor. You will naturally find them as you're going through the world, but you can craft them as well. Quite often the ones you craft will be like you'll get quests where you can find like a particular set of armor which may be quite substantially better than some of the ones you can buy or find. But again, that you'll just come to that as you go through the game. Generally as well, it's usually cheaper to craft things and to make them on the alchemy page than it is to actually buy them. It usually works out more expensive if you buy the same item from a merchant. So the crafting way is kind of encouraged in that regard. So yeah, as you go along, acquire better weapons, better armor. Try as you collect different crafting components. You can be able to craft better weapons, better armor. Also, you'll be able to get a big list of potions you can use as well. Now again, even if you decide, like I did, to go along the sign and combat route with your abilities, it doesn't stop you in any way whatsoever from using any of these potions. But like I find I would use them less probably in combat, well, a lot less in combat than if I'd increased all my alchemy abilities. It would make each of those potions, I'd probably get more charges. Each potion would be stronger and get a more profound use. And the same goes for bombs. So that about sums it up for the moment. Just I can't think of anything else. So I'll just call it a day there, okay?